Hey friends, thank you so much for tuning in. It's wonderful to have you back. And for those of you who downloaded the Brave browser using the link below this video and on previous videos, thank you so much. It allows you to browse the web privately and twice as fast as Chrome, and it won't spy on you, so that's a bonus. And in my last video, I did mention the fact that it works so well that when you visit SGT Report, you won't see any of our ads anymore, and that's actually a problem for us. I had a friend email me and say, you know what you can do? You just turn off the shield. There's a little shield, evidently, in Browse that allows you to turn that ad blocker off. So for all y'all that want to support us, thank you so much. You might want to consider turning that feature off when you visit us at SGT Report. We appreciate you guys. We love you so much. Thank you so much for your support. A shout out to my patrons and a shout out to Will Lehr, an old friend of SGT Report. He's over at Perpetual Assets. He founded that company. They offer LLC IRAs and 401k services and a new crypto acquisition service, which you can tell us about. But we're going to talk today about the deep state, the economy, precious metals, cryptos, and so much more. Will, welcome back.
Hello, Sean. Thank you for having me. It's great to be back.
Hey, buddy. It's good to see you. All right, let's do a deep state update. I want to play a soundbite, and I'm going to keep playing this until the report comes out. Just 2 weeks ago, keep that time frame in mind, 2 weeks ago on Fox News, listen to this.
There's another report that everybody has forgotten about involving James Comey alone. That will be out in 2 weeks. That report is going to be a bombshell. It's going to open up the investigation on a very high note, and there will be criminal referrals in it. The FISA court abuse is the center of this entire abuse of governmental power. And the chief judge of that court has already ruled that the FBI broke the law and that the people at the head of the Justice Department, Sally Yates, John Carlin, the Assistant Attorney General for the National Security, all knew about it and lied to the court, the FISA court, about it.
Will, this goes straight to the top of the FBI, straight to the top of the CIA, at least in terms of Brennan's involvement. We're going to play a soundbite about that for you too as well. But wouldn't it be great to see the real names of the real deep state conspirators named on a daily basis on CNN? They keep avoiding all of these facts.
Can you imagine? I mean, Sean, this is what we've been waiting for years now. We've had the sealed indictments. I mean, this is the next level. We've had the sealed indictments. We've had numerous people stepping down from key positions, whether they're the heads of major companies or non-government organizations or countries. I mean, we've had a lot of resignations, and this is just the next tier, right? As we go into the courts, man, if this stuff becomes public information, or when it does, can you imagine? I mean, can you imagine the backlash from a lot of this, from the other side of the fence, from the liberal media?
Well, the backlash from them is so pathetic in the left in general, as they want to target Barr. They want Barr's resignation, holding Barr in contempt, never ever holding the feet to the fire of criminals that surround them, people like Hillary Clinton, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, John Podesta. They don't care about the crimes of the people on their side. And I think that's the part that most of us right-thinking Americans find so appalling. Because literally, man, if the people on the right were committing such hardcore crimes and tried to spy on Obama and topple Obama in a coup, I would be reporting about that. I would be talking about that. I would be disavowing those crimes because I care about the Constitution. Why is it that the left cannot be more intellectually honest, Will?
It's crazy. It's literally the shift that we've seen take place on this national stage, on the media stage. Like, I lived in Texas during the Obama administration, in very Republican areas, and there was a lot of dissent. There was a lot of many of us from any of these, I guess, non-liberal walks of life, whether you're a libertarian, whether you're a classic liberal, whether you were Republican, there was a lot of dissent, but there was none of this insanity like we're seeing today. And then so Trump comes into office, and the insanity of everything, all of the backlash against him and anything he's ever done or said, I mean, it's unbelievable. So yeah, I think, I mean, the tables have turned. It's as if the cards are being shown, right? This criminal oligarchy on the left is showing their cards.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. The cards are being shown, and we're going to play a soundbite here in a second from Richard Assange, Julian Assange's father, who was on 60 Minutes Australia. I'll play that for you in a second. But I want to just say this. I was on my friend Rowan Croft's show. He's on YouTube as Grand Torino. That's his YouTube channel name. He invited me on his show, and I was on just the other day. And I made the point that the people on the left are so far gone, intellectually and morally speaking, that they remind me of the crowds in the time of Jesus Christ screaming for the release of Barabbas and demanding the execution of Jesus Christ. You'll remember Pontius Pilate did not want the blood of Jesus on his hands, so he said, I'll allow the crowd to choose, thinking, hey, if I give them the worst rapist murderer in the history of the world, Barabbas, or Jesus, certainly they'll vote to execute Barabbas and free Jesus. They did exactly the opposite. I think that the people on the left, the people that cheer for 9th-month abortion on demand when it's signed into law by Cuomo in New York, they applaud that, they cheer. I think they're cut from the same cloth as the people that would free Barabbas and kill Jesus. Am I overstating it?
No, that is a great analogy. I just watched some of your recent work where you were covering this conference that I guess it was Planned Parenthood, and the story of the doctor performing the abortion, and they drop an eyeball, and that was gross. And it's like and then the crowd is laughing. Yeah. And I mean, it's appalling. Regardless of it is appalling. The demeanor that these masses are taking towards this is a very sensitive. I mean, we're talking about killing a human being here. I mean, then you have the Alabama guy who you showed in Congress, who's talking about you either kill them when they're young or you kill them before birth. I mean, it is. I have to drop my jaw. I mean, it's unbelievable, Sean. It's truly unbelievable. So yeah, great analogy.
Yeah, well, interesting that you watched that, and you'll recall that video was very much a news report. There was no hyperbole in that report. I was just sharing the sound bites from these people, right? The sound bites from that conference about abortion with abortion doctors, in which they were laughing at very sick stuff. And then the sound bite from the representative saying, kill him now or kill him later.
Some kids are unwanted. So you kill them now or kill them later. You bring them in the world unwanted, unloved. Then you send them to the electric chair. So you kill them now or kill them later.
And it was a very truthful report, stuff you're not going to see on CNN, but it was immediately labeled by YouTube as not suitable for most advertisers. So it really begs the question, what is suitable for advertisers? Must we only talk about this Russia fable, this Russiagate hoax, right? Because that's what's being used to cover up the Obama administration spying. And it's definitely like the story of the emperor has no clothes, right? Suddenly people are starting to recognize this for the joke it is. Here's Richard Assange on 60 Minutes Australia being asked about his son being a potential Russian asset. Listen to his response. It's fantastic.
So the idea that your son is a Russian asset, as he's been described?
For God's sake, Russian asset. I mean, spare me. Russian asset. Just ridiculous. It just fits their name, we lost the election because of the Russians, not because we're klutzers, not because we called half the population of the United States deplorable, not because I was the worst candidate in 40 years to stand for election, not because I destroyed Libya and giggled like a mad woman seeing a bayonet stuffed up Gaddafi's arsehole. I mean, really.
Isn't that fantastic?
Wow, that's incredible. He is brilliant.
I mean, he's literally saying what we've all been saying, which is she lost because she's a horrible person. She cackled and giggled about the murder of Gaddafi. The Clinton Foundation has embezzled countless billions of dollars. They've embezzled money from the people of Haiti. They've been involved in the cover-up of child sex trafficking. She's a despicable person with 33,000 missing emails. Then she had her team smash the BlackBerries to try to hide evidence. She's committed all measure of crime, and Richard Assange hits on it right there for 60 Minutes, and they did actually broadcast that, which I think is fantastic because, again, this whole Russia hoax fable was baked and concocted by the DNC, Christopher Steele. You know what? Let me play this soundbite from Dan Bongino, who is absolutely over the target constantly. I'll even share the screen here if I can find it. Hang on one second. Let me give you this. Let me throw this truth bomb at you, Will, and then we'll get your reaction. Here's Dan Bongino. He said we were sold out yesterday. This one was about Christopher Wray, but at 31:58 into the show, he said this.
So Christopher Steele, who is the source of the entire Russian collusion hoax cover story to hide a massive spying operation under the Obama administration. Christopher Steele's the only source of this. There is no Russian collusion is a hoax invented in the mind of Christopher Steele and Fusion GPS. He's their quote machine for the FBI. They need a quote, they go to him. Just a few days before this email exchange we just mentioned, hurry the F up, get the DOJ to do this. Just a few days before that, Steele meets with the State Department, and the State Department takes a memo, never disclosed to anyone. The first time we've seen this is yesterday. Steele meets with the State Department, and the State Department official is dumb enough to write down in a memo that he's probably working for Hillary Clinton, and he's definitely working for the DNC, and he needs to push this out before Election Day. Sounds to me like election interference.
How's that for a bombshell? So wow. Christopher Steele, and here's the thing, Christopher Wray redacted that portion of the memo, and so that's why Bongino was saying we were sold out yesterday by Wray, but Bongino is directly over the target here, and I'm looking forward to Tracy Bean's research and dissection of this report about James Comey, if it ever gets released. That thing was supposed to be released by now, and it's still not out. It makes one wonder. But anyway, we know who the real guilty parties are. We know we know the names. We know everybody that was involved, and so does Attorney General Barr. So maybe we really will see indictments, grand juries, and perp walks.
God, I sure hope so, man. These two sound bites that you've just played, the fact that they've been allowed to be aired is huge. I mean, the censorship that we've been experiencing as a very small impact. I mean, we have a small YouTube channel. It's mostly for communication with our clients and interviews with people like yourself. But the level of shadow banning that we have experienced, I mean, we've been demonetized, which wasn't a big deal for us because it wasn't really a revenue generator anyway. But the amount of, Gus and I started doing these weekly broadcasts where we'll talk about the news. And I think it's because of what we're doing on the financial side, helping people get their money out of the system. We have been massively shadow banned. I mean, I have clients and people who follow our YouTube channel who reach out and go, "Oh, I'm so glad you posted this to Twitter. I wouldn't have seen it. It's not showing up in your, in your videos." So the fact that these things are airing is huge. I have a lot. I'm holding on to a lot of hope that things can go, that the truth can be revealed. With the Hillary thing that we were covering on a minute ago, the level of pure evil in that woman pre-election over 2 years ago was like trigger time for me. I was looking through my old Facebook posts and I was like, wow, I was really onto this. And that was because I know inherently how much evil that woman possesses and what would have happened if she would have become president. And I was terrified of that.
Yeah, you and me both, and I think we dodged a bullet. And the good news is the deep state that was in this panic to essentially spy on and figure out a way to topple then candidate Trump went into absolute panic the day after the election, and that's when they started to really expose themselves and make dumb mistakes because they were in such a panic they didn't have a backup plan. They literally did not think he would win, and that's a fact. I mean, as Dan Bongino says, cash that check. That's the fact. They were in a panic. They didn't have a backup plan. And it reminds me of when Jesse Ventura became governor of the state of Minnesota. Within his first couple of days in office, he was invited down to the bowels of the Capitol building where he was surrounded by CIA agents who wanted to know his story because they wanted to know how this non-establishment candidate managed to get elected. Because when this stuff happens, it shakes the establishment to their core. Because time and time again, I'll interview people that I think are probably quite right when they say, look, we're handed candidates to vote for. We're given a choice between deep state operatives. We don't actually have free and open and honest elections. Good guys can't become president. But I'm here to tell you that Trump's a heck of a lot more of a good guy than Hillary Clinton. I mean, by any stretch, any measure, any judgment.
No question.
So where do we go from here? Should we talk about economics? I think we should probably switch gears then, because until that report about James Comey comes out, I guess we're beating a dead horse a little bit. What do you think about cryptos? Let's talk about the bounce back in cryptos. We definitely have found a bottom in Bitcoin, Litecoin. They've all bounced hard. I think Litecoin bottomed around 21 after retracing from, what was it, above 300, I think, at one point, back down to 21, and now it's probably up around 70, 75. Bitcoin, I believe, is right around 6,000 after bottoming just maybe a hair below 3,000. We've definitely hit a bottom in cryptos, and you guys offer a crypto acquisition service, which is interesting for anybody who wants to get into that space and kind of doesn't know how.
Yeah, I think it's been, if you've been in the crypto markets for a couple of years, it's been a pretty incredible ride, 2017, and then of course 2018. All of this 2018 crash, and then recrash, and then continued crash, all of it in the face of pretty incredible news and partnerships and infrastructure being built. I mean, the last, what is this, May? Golly, the last year and a half almost has been nothing but large players across the board, governments, Fortune 500s, all the above, building infrastructure and getting in place for what appears to be technology and technologies that are going to change the way we do everything. I think that, the economy, honestly, we've been on the last days of this debt-based fiat, government centralized, controlled monetary system for a long time. But we're still in the last days, and these last days could keep ticking on for Lord knows how much longer. But the days are numbered, and I think that blockchain technology and the rise of the interest and awareness in this technology and participation from, every major Fortune 500 company on earth, is proof in the pudding that we are changing. This debt-based control mechanism is moving over into what's going to be a trustless type of system. And that's not to say that cryptos are going to be the world's reserve currency, and that, I think this is going to take a long time to transition, and precious metals will have a role. Anything of tangible value should, in theory, have a role. But the operating system that is blockchain technology and what it allows from a trustless, type of format, to where we're able to remove all of these, government middlemen and services that really aren't needed. It's really powerful. I mean, you look at companies that have flourished lately that have brought this same sort of offering to the people, like Airbnb and Uber, uniting strangers to do business with one another and providing the middleman or the trust vehicle that allows people to do that. Well, that's what blockchain is going to do, only for a whole number of a litany of different industries and practices. So, I'm excited about it. I think that, yes, the bottom, early in this January, in price anyway, in cryptos, was in. Don't know if that means we've started a new bull market yet, or if we're going to consolidate around these prices for some time and then break out again. 2018 taught me, if it taught me anything, it was to, really question your emotions. And even though you might believe a certain, the price discovery mechanism with so many of these, with everything, is completely corrupted. Precious metals being priced on the COMEX, and but the news we just had, Binance had a hack yesterday or the day before a pretty large hack, and that would have normally been some pretty FUD type news that would have crashed the cryptos, and they actually did the opposite. Bitcoin went up and broke through 6,000 to the upside. So that's kind of a big statement. When a huge hack takes place, I mean, that would have been the equivalent of the the Mt. Gox hack years ago that crashed the market for years. The market responded well to it in the positive.
Okay. Well, one thing I want to say about cryptos, and I do think it's an interesting space, and I do own some Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum. I've told people that forever, and I haven't really added to those positions, but I never sold at the bottom either. And I would just say this, I did an interview just the other day with my friend, Kent Lewis. He's the founder of Freedom.Social. He's kind of a crypto genius, and he's created this 1776 token, and basically he's built a platform that is going to allow us to all buy, sell, and barter and communicate with each other outside of the system, because he fears, and he did demonstrate to some extent in this interview, it's called, "Is This the Biggest Threat to Our Existence?" He's really concerned about 5G and geoengineering, but we talk about the cryptos, and he pretty aptly demonstrates his belief that Bitcoin is in control of the bad guys. So that's one take. So I just want to, in the interest of full disclosure, guys, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid on cryptos, but I think, as I've said before, I've debated this with Andy Hoffman and others in the past. They can be, and Bix Weir, they can be used for good, or they could be used for evil, just like anything else, just like a gun. Will?
Yep, you're absolutely right. And that's why, I feel like the Bitcoin white paper was Pandora's box. When it was let out of the box, now this technology has just taken its foothold, and you have thousands of different crypto projects now. So Bitcoin may not be the one that ends. It might already be co-opted by men in black suits. But the technology itself is sound, and there may be another crypto or token that comes along that provides the distributed ledger, trustless technology. If Bitcoin, if the mining has all been centralized and it can be controlled, then that will become known to the marketplace. And I've never been a part of another industry before in my life where there was so much, just incredible concern for the trustless nature, for the decentralization of it. It's really the tenet from which it was completely built upon. So if Bitcoin becomes centralized, the market will know this, and it will be made known. It will become public, and that will change everything.
Let me play devil's advocate and say this, though. What if, for instance, there was a lot of talk that the Federal Reserve was going to make a token, a cryptocurrency called FedCoin. Let's just, for the sake of argument, say they brought down all the world economies, all the major first world economies at once, right? The euro crashed, the EU goes down, the dollar crashes, this economy implodes, and then they come to our rescue with something called WorldCoin, right? Or some sort of cryptocurrency, because when we talk about the immutable blockchain, when we talk about blockchain in general, if every transaction is visible, tracked, and traced, you can see how that would be a bad thing for humanity when we're all on the blockchain and everything we do can be tracked and traced by the people that created WorldCoin. You see what I'm getting at here? Again,
Absolutely.
Blockchain can be used for good or evil. So
you're absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right. If we allow a centralized party to release a centralized coin, JP Morgan just launched their own crypto coin, a month or two ago. I can guarantee you that is a centrally controlled mechanism. It's not a decentralized private nodes, independent nodes. Where's the price discovered? Where's the mining taking place? Is it truly distributed? Is it decentralized? Or is it all funneling back into a central hub or a central area of 4 or 5 hubs? So no, you're exactly right though. If we allow, it's all about what humanity allows. And the cool thing about blockchain is it is all open source platform. So the market will know. We are able to read the code, read the platform, and know what we're being handed. So it's easy to discern, I'm being handed a centralized project that's controlled by the IMF or controlled by the Federal Reserve, and that's the sole database where all of the blockchain registry is taking place, it'll be known, right? It'll be known. So if we choose to go that route, yeah, we're screwed. It's the number of the beast, right? But if it is in fact a true distributed ledger type of environment, then it's for the people.
Yeah, the mark of the beast. Well, we're in agreement there. I mean, it can be used for good or evil. Hey, just a little housekeeping here. My apologies to anybody who's watching this interview, and I keep putting on my share screen. And for some of this, while Will's been talking, I had up my website, SGT Report, and I was scrolling through the news, just playing with formats here. But in the interest of housekeeping, guys, I just want to say this. YouTube is choking my view counts. People are not being alerted to my videos. It's quantifiable. I can see it in my analytics. Whereas I used to add 35,000 new subscribers a month for the last 6 months of last year, I'm down to around 2,000 new subscribers a month ever since they changed their algorithms on January 22nd. I just want to let you guys know some conservative voices are being chokehold, are being strangled. Others are not. Like my buddy, Black Conservative Patriot. Great guy, love that guy. Helped him kick off his channel, tried to encourage him, post his stuff, share his stuff. He'll put out a video and it'll get 105,000 views in 2 hours. I'll put out a video and it'll get 36,000 views in 24 hours. So something's going on and I don't know what. I think the best thing I can do, guys, is if you want to catch my stuff and you think you might be missing it, please go to sgtreport.com on a daily basis. And you can see the play bar videos right at the very top, my latest of which, They Will Kill Free Speech with This. It's a must watch. Bombshell information in that video. It's always at the top of SGT Report. Will, I know you guys deal with precious metals. I want to talk a little bit about silver and gold. And a shout out to my sponsor, SD Bullion. These guys have a free Silver Britannia. Right now you can click at that banner at the top of SGT Report, guys. And if you buy 24 coins, you'll get the 25th free. That's a limited time offer. So click the banner at the top of SGT Report. Will, let's talk about precious metals. Talk about kicking a dead horse. My goodness, how in the world can silver still be at 14 or 15? Where would you put your money right now? Would you put your money in some, maybe a little bit of Bitcoin, a little bit of Litecoin, a little bit of gold and silver? Or is silver just a dead story? Is Chris Dwayne, my good friend, longtime friend, is he just dead wrong? Silver's never ever going to bounce.
No, I don't think so. I think, I mean, diversify. You've got to diversify. And all of those assets you just mentioned are great, tangible assets, silver and gold. Gold is great for its portability. You can put a lot of wealth in your pocket and take it somewhere, whether you're running away from something or not. Silver, the upside potential with silver is just astronomical, and it still is, and it remains to be. The reason that it's still $14 is because of the criminality that exists. I mean, we know the price discovery mechanism is entirely flawed, and from a regulatory perspective, all the way to financing. I mean, I had the hardest time grappling with how do miners, producers of this product that are spending huge amounts of money, manpower, moving earth, running equipment, doing just incredible feats in order to bring this product to market, and they're doing so at a loss or at a break even. I mean, none of them are sustaining profits. So how is this even feasible that they're not just saying, "Oh, screw it, we're done, we're closing our doors"? It's because of the mechanism that finances their money. It's where their money comes from. It's all about the money. But the bullion banks, so these criminals are very smart. They figured out. They already thought about this. Well, how do we control the producers as well? Well, you do it through these incentives and through basically giving them the free money as well. So yeah, I think that we're not going to see silver break out nor gold to new highs or considerable levels until it's going to correlate with, and I've said this for years, it's not just going to happen. It's going to correlate with the crash of our current system. Whether that's crash of equity markets or whether that's actual the actual currencies themselves that start to crash and we enter hyperinflation or some sort of loss of collective faith in the purchasing power of a major global currency. But the metals are going to stay at these boring, deflated, desperate prices below the cost of production until the system breaks,
Yeah. Yeah.
So no, I don't think Chris is wrong. I mean, the fundamentals, I mean, he's done so much work. When you go into his work, it'll blow your mind. The fundamentals behind the price of silver and why it should be, many, many multiples of its current price. But it's gonna have to correlate with the breaking of the system.
Yeah, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here because, of course, I still have silver, I still have gold, and I buy a little bit of silver now and then. And I don't buy gold hardly ever. I don't remember the last time I bought gold because it is so damn expensive compared to silver. I mean, you can get, 80 ounces of silver right now for the same price as 1 ounce of gold, when the historic level is 15 to 1, and they mine it out of the ground at a ratio closer to 9 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the case can be made that silver is the bargain of the century. So a shout out to Chris. I mean, anybody who's held silver for any period of time has been beat up. I think that's the bottom line. But we all know that sooner or later, Deutsche Bank will go down. Sooner or later, these derivatives portfolios will blow up. Sooner or later, the EU might melt down. It could be because of Brexit or God knows what. And it reminds me of Lindsey Williams. Pastor Lindsey Williams warned, I think it was way back in 2011, he said they are going to take the stock market up to unimaginable levels. And when you think it can't go any higher, it'll go higher still. And when you think it can't go higher, they'll take it even higher. Now, he wasn't specific about, I don't recall him being specific about, maybe he was, Dow 30,000, Dow 40,000, I don't remember, but that was the prediction he made based on his elite contact who told him this would happen. And he said what you need to watch for is the euro collapsing, because the euro will go first, and within a couple of weeks, the dollar will then go second. So I think that's what people need to watch out for. I mean, as far as our crystal balls go, I mean, that's about the best we can do is listen to people we respect. And Lindsey Williams was right about that. He was 100% right about them taking the Dow to unimaginable heights. I never dreamt when the Dow was at 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, it would go to 25,000 in just a few years. It's really crazy, Will.
Yeah, so. And I don't think we've seen the end of it. I mean, I think we might see 50,000 Dow. I mean, it's very feasible that you could see not only them take it, but you could see if you see a flight to safety. I mean, these are multi-trillion-dollar markets. I mean, if you start to see money come out of the bond market and go into equities because it's perceived as more safe, blue chip companies, somebody wants to buy stock in, Caterpillar because they don't think Caterpillar is going out of business, or, they own a bunch of land, they own a bunch of equipment. It's possible, but you could see real money drive into that sector coupled with massive manipulation. And driving it to new highs. Well, we're all just waiting for it, really, Sean. I mean, it's like at this point, I'm almost numb to all of it, really.
But the other thing is, and I've talked about this with Lynette Zhang, when we talk about hyperinflation, right? Hyperinflation of the dollar. Thank God we're not seeing that. I'm so glad that toilet paper is not $40 a roll, and milk is $100 a gallon. I mean, that would be a nightmare. What's going on in Venezuela is hell on earth, right? We're so glad we're not seeing hyperinflation of our currency, but what we are seeing is hyperinflation of stock market prices. Because I remember after the internet bubble crash back around 2000, I literally remember Amazon trading at $5 a share. It's now closer to 2,000. I haven't looked recently, but I know it at one point recently it hit $2,000 per share. $5 to $2,000 per share in 17, 18, 19 years? I mean, that's hyperinflation of their stock price. And there's countless other examples, right? Netflix, Chipotle, Apple. So that's where the hyperinflation is. It's all in these asset prices on Wall Street. All right. As we wrap this up, can you tell people about the LLC IRAs? They can manage their own IRAs and 401ks, and then tell people about the crypto service.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. We realized when we started the company about 7 years ago, there's a whole bunch of money stuck in these qualified plans, IRAs, 401ks. And we had a lot of clients at the time who were cashing them out, paying taxes and penalties just to get access to the money. Because there's a lot of concern about the risks inherent in these types of plans. And so this LLC IRA is a type of self-directed IRA that we set up that allows the individual to jailbreak the funds, to take them out of their current, they stay inside of the IRA. So there's no taxable event. There's no taxes or penalties that take place, but the individual is able to manage the funds. The individual is able to take custody and control of the funds, and then make their own investments. And it could be cryptocurrencies or precious metals, in physical form. It could be real estate. It could be private equity. It could be traditional stocks and bonds that the individual wants to control and trade him or herself. So that vehicle is mainly to help people who have money stuck in one of these IRAs. And we say, look, we can get you access to that, and you can control it yourself, and you can, park it into these investments that you want to. The crypto offering we set up because we were having so many people that were having a hard time getting new dollars into the crypto space, even into Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin. Like with the IRA LLC, it's IRA money that goes into a company, and then the client has to go open up a new trading account, a corporate account at one of these exchanges to get the dollars in. It's very difficult. They take weeks and months to set up. Many people are rejected. So this is typically for larger transactions, $10,000 or higher. It's very difficult to get these dollars into the space. So we launched our own internal acquisition service where we can get crypto directly for clients. It's quick and simple. They wire us the funds. We go through our AML process. The client is on the phone with us within 24 hours executing a trade. And then we do a test transaction right to their wallet. It goes straight to the client's wallet. So, yeah, thanks for that. We've been seeing a pretty large interest in that as people are continually having great difficulty getting dollars into the crypto space. And it's no surprise. I mean, the market caps of some of these projects, most of these projects are so small. There's, in 2 or 3 days time, all of the coins that have ever been mined or even in existence for a lot of these projects are traded within 24 hours or 2 or 3 or 4 days. There's just a huge amount of counterparty risk there, that coins being traded that don't even exist. So I think that when the dust settles with crypto, you're going to see incredible valuations.
Isn't it funny to hear you say that? It reminds me of exactly what we've endured in the precious metals market. Huge volumes of silver being traded, paper silver. The physical silver doesn't exist, or it's not actually held by these people trading it. Same with gold. That's what they've done time and time again to keep the prices of silver and gold suppressed. And guys, as we've said so many times in the past, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. You do have so much counterparty risk if you have a paper ETF for silver or gold. So this is an opportunity to get the physical in your hands, but still have your IRA. You can get the physical precious metals. Will can help you do that, but you don't have to close your IRA out, cash out, pay 20% tax or whatever the penalty is, and take that hit. And Will, I'll vouch for you. I've known you for a long time. I can certainly vouch for your integrity. You've always been a straight shooter with me, and I know you're an honest guy, so I can wholeheartedly recommend Perpetual Assets. Can you tell people phone number, website?
Thanks, Sean. Yeah, perpetualassets.com is the best way to catch us. Phone number's up there, 888-281-2630. Call us, email us, contact us on the website, whatever is your preferred method. But I appreciate it, Sean, and I thank you for the time as well, my friend.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's always fun to catch up with old friends and cover current news. And I think we did a fairly good job with that today. But I got to tell you, man, that Bongino, boy, is he a genius. You guys got to subscribe to Dan Bongino's channel. I'm sure most of you already do. That guy is sharp. Former Secret Service. Smart guy. All right, guys, we're going to keep our eye on all of it. May the deep state criminals be brought to justice, though the heavens may fall. Our guest has been Will Lehr, perpetualassets.com. Thanks, Will.
Thanks a lot, Sean.
All right, friends. On, brother. You too, buddy. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. You know how much we appreciate it. And for real news 24/7, do visit us at sgtreport.com. God bless. Bye-bye.
Here's what our number one objective needs to be, Sean. And this is critically important to our future. We need to stop 5G, and we need to stop geoengineering. If we do not stop 5G and geoengineering, it's over.